Good evening and welcome to 90 Minutes. It's Monday the 28th of September. I'm Simon Alamandy and as usual I'm joined by my trusty co-host Pete Hill. Evening Pete, how have you been mate?
Yeah, good evening, Simon. Shivering, I think. The weather's turned, isn't it? Dear, we're getting into autumn, but autumn's proper football weather, isn't it? None of this sunshine stuff. Got to get a big boat out, I think, shortly.
I think that's coming out definitely, mate. It's been absolutely freezing these last couple of days. And, got a great guest this week coming up. We're going to be joined at half-time by Sawbridgeworth Town's man of the moment, Kieran Amos.
Yeah, looking forward to talking to Kieran. I mean, the footballer who lost 7 stone, scored the winner in the FA Cup. It's Roy of the Rovers stuff, isn't it?
Roy. I used to love Roy of the Rovers. That's great, isn't it?
You know, he used to be the mascot, or well, no, not the mascot, because they used to sponsor St Albans City. And I can remember covering an FA Cup game for the BBC many years ago at St Albans City, and they had a massive cardboard cutout of Roy Race next to the dugout. And I always wanted to snaffle it away, but I never could.
I think you'd be spotted if you tried to sneak out of the ground with that, Pete.
Well, I was going to take him out for an interview, you know. You never know we can get away with. Okay, shall we wind the clock back and look back on the action of the week, starting on Tuesday, the 22nd, and the FA Cup first qualifying round, where it finished Wolfstone 0, St Margaret's-Bury 0, Walthamstow going through 4-3 on penalties. Walthamstow winning their third penalty shootout in 4 games, and Bury, of course, losing their second in 2 after the game ended goalless, despite both teams having chances to advance in normal time. Home side started brightly, Chancey Dash striking a shot just over the bar and could have gone in front if Emmanuel Olajibe had not scooped Dash's header for a corner off the line. The Bury, though, weathered the storm and could have been in front themselves just after the restart. Kyle Roberts' shot saved by a homekeeper, Connor Sansom. As the half wore on, the home side began to dominate again, but the visitors still had their chances. Ryan Reed's kick tipped over the top. Sansom, more stout defending, held the Stowe at bay until Dash was adjudged to be pushed in the box. The striker got up to take the spot kick, but skied his penalty over the top. With one penalty missed, the game was ultimately decided from the spot. Carl Roberts having the first save by Sansom, the goalkeeper, after denying Tom Massey, as Walthamstow went through to the second qualifying round. Disappointment, we talked to Ray, of course, on last week's show, and there he was facing another penalty shootout.
Yeah, it's not the ideal situation, but it sounds like it was a good performance. And you know, he said about Emmanuel Olajibe, how good he's been for them this season, and it sounds like he gave another good performance. There was one tweet that I did notice, Pete, from James Falace, the assistant there. He said, "Sometimes you can't ask any more of players. Proud to see the performance and reaction tonight off the back of 2 games. We let ourselves down. Congratulations to Walthamstow. P.S. Had enough of penalty shoots out this season."
Yeah, they don't want to see
it all, I think.
I think definitely does say it, but much better performance. And yeah, as far as him, he's in goal. I mean, I think the only problem going to have is keeping hold of him, because I think a lot of teams at step 4 could do worse, definitely.
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, like Ray said to us last week, he's the best keeper at step 5, one of the best, for a step 4 team. So, yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed that they can keep hold of him.
Most certainly. On the same night, I went down to Hearns Lane to watch Wellington City against Bishop Stortford in the FA Cup. Finished Wellington City 1, Bishop Stortford 1. And yes, the curved penalties against Southampton struck again. Bishop Stortford won 4-3 on pens. Here's the story of the match.
And November finds Foxley. Foxley tries to put it down the line. Good block by Jack Bradshaw. Here's November again, going over to the far side, but a header coming in from Johnny Sexton. Oh, and Lee Close has given it away, but does well to challenge his man on the edge of the area. Stortford fans thinking it should have been a free kick, but Frankie Merrifield filled the challenge. And Lee Close, well, he got himself out of jail there, didn't he? Facey's got it right-hand side of the box. Facey controls it well. Back 4, Keenley side, midway inside to Stortford a half. Threads it in. Here's Jack Facey, puts it across the box, and George Ironton puts it in. Super move. and the Citizens go in front. It's the first real attack, and 17 minutes in, and George Ironton has put Welwyn Garden City in front here. Keenley side got it super cross, and George Ironton running in on the far post to make it 1-0. Long kick down to that right-hand side. Decent header. Here's Foxley. I haven't seen him for a while. As he pops up, tries to get the ball across, all the way across. Shot comes in from Davidson. And that's the first time Charlie Crowley has looked worried. But in the end, it was wide of the target. And where the goalkeeper was, he probably would have saved it anyway. So let's see what they can do here. Keenley side takes the kick. It's going to curl into the far post. It's well headed out. I think it's Mwemba who got his head to it, but it's going to break for George Ironton, who finds Keenley side on the edge of the area, drifts onto the left foot, and shots deflected over the top for a corner. Breaks again for Marlow, and there indeed is the half-time whistle here at Hearns Lane, and a very satisfactory one as far as Welwyn Garden City are concerned. They lead here by 1-0, scored by George Ironton after 17 minutes. Bishop Stortford then in on the side of the area here, pulls it back. Marlowe's going to tee up the shot. It's a crossbar. And the ball bounces down. Crowley manages to pour it away, and that's the closest the visitors have come by a long margin on the halfway line. Just announcing the Robbie Buchanan change. That is a right winger for a right winger. As all the ball bounced off immense is Merrifield. All good save by Charlie Crowley, but bundled in to the back of the net by Foxley. Bishop Stortford back level. Well, you've got to say, Welwyn Garden City, the architects of their own downfall there. He'll break on this near side for Eusebio de Silva, who's doing the defending. Eusebio was being fouled, but he's put a good through ball to Robbie Buchanan. Buchanan's got some space, hasn't got too much in front of him apart from George Ironton. He's Robbie Buchanan on the edge of the area, finds George Ironton, still George Ironton, but can't go anywhere. He's absolutely covered in yellow shirts. Finds Eusebio de Silva, left-hand side of the box, fires in the shot, and it goes just over the top. Best chance for the Citizens in the second half. Keenley side waiting patiently to take the free kick on that far side. Drifts it into the area. Out comes the goalkeeper. He's missed it. Mensah with a chance has put his header wide, and it's deflected behind for a corner. Crowley's kick goes out, and that is going to be the last action of normal time here at Hearns Lane. It's finished. Welwyn Garden City 1, Bishop Stortford 1. George Ironton in the first half for Welwyn Garden City. And in the second half, after Ben Marlow had thrashed the ball against the crossbar, it was Darren Foxley who bundled it in for the equaliser. Welwyn Garden City having chances at the other end through Eusebio de Silva and Carl Mensah, but it is all going to come down to a penalty shootout. Keenley side looks up and puts it high into the top right-hand corner. Super penalty. So Foxley, who scrambled in that equaliser, has got a chance to thump one in now from the penalty spot. Here he comes with the left boot, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and it's 1-1. Bradshaw against Giddings. Bradshaw takes it. Giddings has saved it. Diving away to his right, he parried it, it hit the post and rebounded over the top. And first strike to the visitors as Jack Bradshaw disconsolately walks back to the halfway line. Puts it down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps back for the big man. Here comes Carl Mensah against Giddings, and the goalkeeper saved it, and Bishop sought for the through. Penalty heartbreaker at Hearns Lane for the Citizens. Disappointing always to go out on penalties. I mean, probably doubly disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we set our stall out. We played to a certain pattern today, and once we got the goal, I honestly couldn't see him scoring. Just a little bit disappointed. Charlie had a great game. He shouted away. I think he could have come and got the ball. Obviously, a little bit of a melee, and it's a tap in. But after that, we regrouped again. Had a couple of really good chances, and Eusebio one from 2 yards. I mean, that wins the game. But yeah, if we play like that, we'll do all right this season.
After Saturday, you're obviously looking for a reaction. Pleased that you got it?
Yeah, Saturday was a debacle. It was awful Saturday. Even though we had probably 18 chances, they only had 2. We didn't play anywhere like that today, on Saturday. Today we had desire back, hunger, work rate, everything that we wanted, that I expect from our team. So yeah, absolutely delighted with every one of them in there. They were brilliant. Just unlucky on the penalties. It's the way it goes. But people put their hand up to take a penalty, so you've got to admire them for that.
Yeah, and going back to the first half, they had a lot of possession. Charlie didn't have a save to make.
No, that's what. Well, we had them watched, and I knew they'd have a lot of possession, but we're quite good on the counter attack. So I just thought, let them have it, and I changed our formation a little bit. I put George out wide a bit and put Patrick in, and it worked really well. Really could have had another one, really, of Patrick, when he went through. But we knew we were going to be under pressure a little bit. Yeah, they're a decent side, so we knew what we were up against, but didn't really trouble us. They played to how I thought they'd play, long balls. We gobbled it up quite well. Charlie pulled a few saves off the second half, which was really, really good. It's just that one hesitance that cost us, really.
Yeah, and I guess that's the difference, is it? Level 4, level 3?
To be honest, I don't mean there's a lot of level between us and them. Obviously, there's teams in that league that are a lot better, and you'd have to improve. But we've lost all our forward line from last year near enough, so we've had to replace it, and players that have come in. So I'm still tinkering about it. Not too bad at the back of the midfield. It's just our forward line. We just got to tinker about with it and see if I can get it right. That's the main thing.
And you've tinkered about a bit bringing Patrick, haven't you? Tell us a bit about him.
Yeah, Patrick come in. He's looked quite good in training. He's been at St Albans and Hitchin, obviously been out for a year and a half, so he's just got to come in. He's just up and running a little bit, bundles of pace. I just got to get him into the right positions and use it in the correct way. But he's done well, and I've just got the other Patrick now that I've dual registered from Enfield, who come on and done well again. So we've got some forward players there. Jack Vassey's just come back. He's been out for 3 weeks, so delighted with him as well. And I was really delighted with George tonight. I thought he was excellent tonight. He played in different positions, got the goal, caused loads of problems, but everyone played to how I wanted them to do today, and that was what it's all about, really. Unlucky the result, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, a bit frustrating. You've got Saturday off now.
Yeah, I know, but maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Obviously, if Howe's Owen have won tonight, there'll be 2 Saturdays off. Yeah. So again, we'll have to have a look, see, maybe arrange something. Disappointed for the club I am that we went out tonight, because it was there for the taking, really. So it is what it is.
Cheers, Nicky. Thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, Pete.
Cheers.
And thanks as always to Nicky for the post-match. And he was absolutely right. I mean, there was nothing in the game. And, when you consider, of course, there was one step in the pyramid between the two. I think after disappointment of the Wantage game, it's just what the doctor ordered for Welwyn Garden City. And, it's really strange, isn't it? You go out of a cup competition, but probably there were many positives to take out of it as well.
Yeah, it certainly sounded it, Pete. I mean, unfortunately, I couldn't join you, but I listened to the commentary. Sounded a really good game, and sounded like they put in a fantastic performance.
Yeah, it was a really good game, end-to-end stuff. Good sport as well on a Tuesday night. I mean, we'd had this thought about why is the FA Cup on Tuesday night, why isn't it on a Saturday? But really good atmosphere there. Nicky took to Twitter as well as talking to us after the game, saying great effort by the Welwyn Garden City boys tonight. Back to the best. Unfortunately, going out on penalties to Bishop Stortford, but a proud performance to take into the season. I don't think it's absolutely that. I mean, they're at home again tomorrow night against Biggleswade, but I suppose the only unfortunate thing I was saying to Nicky then, before we knew the result of the Howe's Owen game, I mean, they've got another Saturday off, so it's just the problem with the cup is sometimes just interrupts your momentum as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, they don't need these stop, start, weeks, do they? There was one comment on Twitter that I did see, Pete, and this made me chuckle. This was from a ground hopper. He'd visited Hearns Lane for the first time, and he'd obviously not seen Welwyn Garden City play before or Nicky before. And this was at Graham_EFC 1878. He said, FA Cup action, Welwyn Garden City against Bishop Stortford. Won 4-3 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. Not much to choose between the teams, but a mention from the home manager who never stopped shouting. Some of his comments very amusing, but 2 good saves won the tie.
I'll tell you, we'd love to put a microphone on that dugout, but I think you'd have to censor quite a bit of it as well. But good value is Nicky watching during a game. On to Wednesday, Youth Cup action. Finished Potters Bar Town 2, Hertford 3. Another good performance by the Young Blues. Ben Wayman amongst the goals as they set up a home tie against Grays in the second qualifying round. On the same night at Watson Park, finished Ware 3, Wingate and Finchley 2. The Ware youngsters came from 2-1 down to put themselves a place in the second qualifying round. Vinnie Giddon and Tommy Shepherd, who scored a hat-trick in the preliminary round, of course, and an own goal secured the win, despite those 2 goals being the first time they've conceded all season. Well, now, it's Thorn Sports in the second qualifying round, week beginning October the 5th. And moving on to Thursday, to complete the hat-trick in the FA Youth Cup, finished Little Oakley 1, St Margaret's-Bury 2. Louis Pullen with a 25-yard free kick and another own goal, doing well for the Bury youngsters. So 3 really good wins for our teams there.
Yeah, excellent. 3 games, 3 teams through to the next round of the FA Youth Cup, and look forward to a little run for them, hopefully.
Yeah, Ware had a good run last year, so hopefully St Margaret's-Bury and Ware can all have a good run this time around. That brings us around to Saturday, when everybody really did need to get the big coat out, and the umbrella probably would have come in handy as well. In the pitching in Isthmian League Division 1 South Central, it finished Bedfont Sports 2, Ware 3. First points of the season for Paul Wolsey's team, but another roller coaster battle down by Heathrow. Saw them come from behind twice before securing the win with a second Tom Bruno penalty. Already missing injured defenders Dan Rumans and Dave Kendall, Ware went into this one with a shortage of recognised strikers, with Albert Liam Hope and Andre McGullin all missing. That left Tommy Wade to lead the line, wearing the number 4 shirt, as allegedly it was the only one that would fit him. The visitors had the afternoon's first chance, Tom Bruno's free kick finding Lewis Rose, who shot just wide. 16 minutes in, though, it was Bedfont who were in front. Callum Kitchker catching the on-running Darryl Sanders in the area. The striker's initial spot kick was blocked, but he followed up to put the rebound home for 1-0. It could have got worse as the host hits the crossbar before Ware pulled level with 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Tommy Wade brought down in the home box and Tom Bruno dispatching the spot kick. 2 minutes after the break, the home side went back in front. Sanders thumping a shot goalwards that Kitchker could only divert into the net. This time, though, the lead didn't last long. Tommy Wade again showing good strength in the box to set up Pat Adamson for the equaliser. 3 minutes after that was Wade's header, which Ala Ushti was closing in on when he was taken out in the penalty area, allowing Tom Bruno to convert his second spot kick of the game and to secure the 3 points. I think the question we want to ask Paul Halsey after that is, how's your blood pressure?
Yeah, definitely. It certainly sounds like it. I mean, he told us many times last season about him needing a doctor on the bench. But it certainly sounds, I mean, that's Tommy's first game of the season. And, we know, he's a big lad. He's a huge unit there. And it certainly sounds like he made a bit of a nuisance of himself, Pete.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, actually, because he gives them another option, doesn't he? Because, Albert, Liam and Andre are not that kind of striker. Tommy is the ultimate old-fashioned number 9, isn't he? And, that's a good option to have, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You need variety up there, up front, don't you?
And they've certainly got that. Also mentioned for a promising league debut for Finley Titchmarsh, who caught the eye in close season, playing at right back. I think he's going to be an astute signing as well. Yeah, definitely. And also saying about league debuts, young Reece Crowder came off the bench as well, didn't he? Yeah, absolutely. Another one to watch. I think, they just need to get those players back, don't they? I mean, that's 3 points out of 2 away games. Got another away game coming up. If they can get those points from away games with that kind of injuries, then, when the players start coming back, could look good. Yeah, that's the important thing, isn't it? Let's get these players back from injury, and hopefully, we'll see some positive performances. Top of the table, early table looks like this. Westfield are flying, played to 6 points and won 4-1 at Chipstead yesterday. Bracknell, everybody's favourites for the title in second, played to 4 points. They drew 2-2 at Uxbridge, but they were 2-0 up. Hertford in 6th, Ware in 10th. Moving on to the Essex Senior League, and what bumper weekend it was for our three teams there. 20 goals in their 3 games this particular weekend. Hoddesdon Town 5, Enfield 3. More great entertainment at Lowfield. Games involving the Lillywhites produced 31 goals in just matches so far. Was particularly impressive. You consider Simon Riddle without 7 of his first team squad. Craig Tolley gave the home side a 10th minute lead with a header. Enfield, who parted company with manager Matt Henning in the week, equalised in the 20th minute through Sam Leonard Mould. Liam Mulligan was on the hand to make the most of visiting keeper Jack Wilmot's error after the ball had cannoned back off the post to restore the advantage 10 minutes from the break, only for Enfield to draw level again with a goal from the evergreen Jamie Curtin. 5 minutes before half-time, the veteran striker chipping the ball over the stranded Liam Nugent. The host had continued after break. Hoddesdon going in front after good work from Cyrus Babai, and Blue Gallagher set up Liam Mulligan for his second of the game with 66 minutes gone. The strike seemed to break the visitors' resistance, and Blue Gallagher added the goal of the match 6 minutes later. Superbly taken curling shot into the top right-hand corner after Liam Mulligan had knocked it into his path from a free kick. Agent Critchley's header snuffed out any chance of a comeback despite Alex Warman's strike for the visitors 2 minutes from time. And well, if you want entertainment and you want goals, watch Hoddesdon.
It certainly sounds like it. Yeah, I mean, eight goals there, and they've certainly, like you said, 31 goals this season so far. It's certainly you get goals for your money there, don't you, Pete?
Yeah, you certainly get great value for money. And 7 members of the first team squad missing as well. I know Enfield have been struggling in the league, but, still shows they've got a bit of strength in depth.
Yes, and, Simon said to me, 2 or 3 weeks ago as well, about the injury troubles he'd had. Now, we know they had those troubles last season as well. And hopefully gets them players back. And it could be good signs down there at Lowfield.
Certainly entertainment, as we've been saying. Meanwhile, down the road at the recreation ground, it finished St Margaret's-Bury 3, Clapton 3. Amazing comeback this by the Bury, who went in 3-0 down at half-time after a 45 minutes to forget. Matthew Bentley, Ridwan Hussein and an own goal, making it a very interesting half-time team talk from manager Ray Bartlett. Whatever he said, though, did the trick. Kyle Roberts started the comeback, finishing off a scramble in the visitors' penalty area on the hour. Roberts then converted a penalty before Jake Hayden Ely got the home side out of trouble with an equaliser 8 minutes from time. I don't quite know how manager... It's a shame we've got Ray on to talk to do this. We had quite well manager take us out of that. Absolutely awful in the first half, by all accounts, and stunning in the second.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. And another great comeback for them as well, Pete.
Yeah, it's 3 draws out of 4 now. I mean, they've just had that one defeat, bit of a thumping against Saffron Walden. But, it's shown a bit of resilience there.
That's it. I mean, we said to Ray about them, not having scored in the league so far last week. So at least, they've got a few goals. And, hopefully that'll give them, a bit of confidence, coming back from 3-0 down. Great second half performance. And hopefully they can build on that.
At Crofters, it finished Sawbridgeworth Town 2, #United 4, the Robins' first league defeat this season against the league leaders. Horace Ormsby brought the home side in front after only 6 minutes, his attempted cross looping over stranded keeper Martin Guest. Lead didn't last long though, #getting back when Rhys Hewitt set up Joe Gregory to slot the ball wide of Michael Betts. The home keeper was then forced into action, pushing Harry Honesty's effort over the crossbar. On the half hour, Betts' handling was not as assured as he fumbled Jesse Waller-Larson's free kick, allowing Tom Anderson to head the visitors in front. # had the better of the opening exchanges in the second half, Betts saving well from Joe Gregory, but it was the Robins who drew level in the 58th minute. Horace Ormsby brought down in the box, and Connor Clark dispatching the spot kick for his 5th goal of the young season. At that stage, the destination of the 3 points was definitely up for grabs, but 17 minutes from time, it was the visitors who went back in front. Substitute Joshua Asude picking out Gregory at the far post. The striker lofting his header over Betts to make it 3-2. With 5 minutes to go, the victory was assured. Poor pass was intercepted by Harry Holly, who ran and threw goals, slotting the ball past Betts to maintain the hashtag 100% start. They are the team to beat, but, till 17 minutes from time, Sorbo were giving them a really good game.
That's it. I mean, they've kept themselves level. They've, put up a good fight. And like we've seen, hashtag, they're one of the favourites for the title, aren't they? So, to keep them level, to keep pressing them for 70 minutes, I think it's a great effort. And I mean, I know you're going to go through the table in a minute, Pete, but they're fourth in the table. They picked up 7 points from 4 games, so it's still a good effort from them.
Oh, most definitely. And, it's no disgrace going down to a team that, without doubt, they're going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. That table looks like this. Surprise leaders, though. Ryan Wade's Fosters played 4, points 12. They won 2-0 at Sporting Bengal. Have started the season flying. Second place, hashtag United, played 4, 12 points. And Stansted, the other team who are in super form, played 4, 10 points. A big them man of 5-0 on Saturday. Sawbridgeworth played 4.7, and in 5th place, West Essex played 4.7. They lost 3-2 at home to Walthamstow on Friday night. Hoddesdon at 8th played 4 with 6, and Margaretbury 14th played 4 with 3. And Woodford are the team at the moment who are yet to get off the mark, have got nothing out of their 4 games so far. They had a Friday night game as well, and they lost 2-0 to Woodbridge. So, you talked about the top of the table there. So, when you look at teams at the top, Foster's surprise to everybody, Sawbridgeworth a surprise, and strangely, there's a couple in there in Walthamstow and Hadley particularly, and also Saffron Walden. Those 3 are not featuring early on.
No, they're not featuring at the moment, but I think they're too good to be to not be up there at the end of the season, and maybe just a slow start. It's been difficult for everyone with obviously what's been going on, but I think come the end of the season, those teams will be up there. But I think it's going to be a really, really closely fought league this year, Pete. I mean, you've got teams up there that haven't started as strongly as people would have thought. You've got teams that are struggling a little bit, and it all bounds for a closely fought battle, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cracking battle and one well worth watching at the top of the table there. Let's dot the I's and cross the T's on the rest of Saturday's action in the Hearts Senior County League Premier Division. Finished Chipperfield Corinthians 1, Ware Sports 1. The Letchworth Garden City Eagles game against Hoddesdon Town Reserves was postponed because, unfortunately, Cindy Hobbs of Hoddesdon Town's reserve team manager Jack Hobbs has tested positive for COVID-19. So Jack's in isolation, and we, of course, wish both of them well. Also finished Welling Garden City under-23s 1, Hereford United Reserves 3, Jordan Kinoshi with the goal for the young citizens. So top of the table looks like this. Team flying there are Royston Town Reserves, played 5-12 points, beat Sandridge Rovers 6-0 on Saturday. Bellstone in second, played 4-9. Hereford United Reserves played 5-9 points. Bush Rangers in fourth, played 5-8 points. In Division 1, finished Bunningford Town 0-0, Oxley 2. Oxley are top of the table, played 4 with 9 points. Evergreen played 4, 9 points in second. And Hatfield United played 4, 8 points in third. Standard and Buckridge are in fifth, played 3, 7 points. They were in Albury Cup action. Tell you about that in a second. Meanwhile, in Division 2, finished Ware Sports Reserves 1, Wormley Rovers Reserves 2. Hemel Hempstead Rovers head the table there, perfect from their 3 games, and our Letchworth Garden City Eagles reserves in second. That game in the Albury Cup finished Standard and Buggery 2, Hertford Heath 3. Jordan Gutteridge and Adam Lawton for Standard and Puckeridge, 2 for Luthurian Oyebi for Hertford Heath. Danny Atkins with the other one, and Heath coming from 2-1 down to book a match against Hadley Saturday Vets in the next round. In the Essex Olympian League Division 5, not a good day for Roydon. They lost 4-0 at home to Newbury Forest Reserves. Top of the table, Shoebury Town Reserves, perfect from 3. Collier Road Reserves in second. Likewise, Roydon down in 10th, played 4 points. Hertford District League Premier Division, Allenbury's 2, Bockers Jogger Benito 4. Bengio Trinity 2, Culture Club Athletic 1. Luke McCurry and Simon Phelan, the goal scorers for the Trinity. What about this for a game? Where Trinity 3, Westmill 8. Ben Harrison, Alex Wood and James Charlton for the Trinity. Louis Debenham got himself a hat-trick for Westmill, 2 for Callum Falk, a penalty for the skipper Alfie Arnold, Tom Burns and Tom Payne, the other goal scorers in a game, would you believe, where Trinity at one point led 1-0. For the table, Westmill 3, 9 points, about this for a goal difference after 3 games, plus 11. Mill Lane in second, played 3, 9 points. In Division 1, Albury 2, Nazing 1, first win of the season for Albury. James Murfitt and Oliver Bass, the scorers for Albury. And in case you ask, Henry Branston wasn't playing. Hertford Heath Reserves 1, Buffs FC 3, Thunderidge United 0, Shearing 6. Buffs FC head the table perfect from 3, as are Shearing in second place. And Division 2, Inter holding 1, Bullies Crusaders 2, Louis Donovan for Inter, and for Bullies, Dean Richards and Dan Sinnott, the goal scorers. Mangrove 2, Greenbury United 1, Albert Aliev and Chris Kent for the Grove. And it was Much Adam 0, Bengio Trinity Vets. Talking about another team who've been on fire at the beginning of the season. Vets goals coming 2 from Ricky Kettridge, Chang Kiara, Alex Raven and Neil Ward. And it finished Waltham Abbey a 4, Buntingford Wanderers 1, Louis McPherson with a goal for the Wanderers. Top of the table, Waltham Abbey A played 3-7. Bengio Trinity Vets played 2-6. Hockey season finally got underway in the men's Eastern Region Division 2 South. Plenty of goals, by the way, as well. Finished Bedford 2-3, Hertford 3. Scott App scoring another hat-trick. That's 2 hat-tricks in consecutive weeks. And it wasn't a bad day for Hertford's men's teams. 6 men's teams in action over the weekend. 3 wins, 2 draws, and just a 1 single defeat. In Eastern Region Division 3 Southwest, finished from Walden 2-1, Welling Garden City 3. Visitors went behind early, but a short corner finished off by Lee Tickner pulling them level. And it was Tickner who reacted when the Saffron Walden deflected a shot into his puck, burying the ball to put Welling 2-1 up at the break. Home side pushed forward in the second period, but some solid defending by the visitors kept the lead intact before Dave Alleman-Smith set out on a great run, beating 3 defenders before setting up Creighton Napoleon for a tap-in to seal the points. Thanks as always to Dan Klinger for the details of an excellent opening day win there. The ladies, well, they faced their first game at the new level that they're at now in Eastern Region Division 2 Southwest. Finished Thurrock 4, Hertford 4, coupled for Molly Hallett, Naomi Harnett and Evie Reynolds, the goal scorers. No hat-trick jugger for Molly, but the first donut of the season went to Sophie Rawlinson for a complete air shot, which is recreated by a small child and a golf club on their Twitter account, and is well worth looking at.
I saw that, yeah, and it's unfortunate for Molly that she didn't get the hat-trick, but I think she was relieved that she didn't have to buy the hat-trick jug, Pete.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a bit like a hole-in-one in golf, isn't it? You get that hat-trick, you've got to buy everybody a drink. So she'll be happy just getting 2 goals in a game throughout the season. But, it's good performance, isn't it? I mean, you go up a level, don't quite know what you're going to get, score 4 goals away from home. It's, a good start.
Yeah, excellent. Draw, 4-all draw. So I think they need to judge how the league's going to be, because, I don't know if they know much about the teams they're going to be facing, but fantastic start for them. Like you say, scoring 4 goals, so onwards and upwards, hopefully, for them.
Yeah, most definitely. Thanks, by the way, the Hartford Hockey Club Chair, Nick Bentley, providing us with the details throughout the hockey season. I hope to have Nick on the programme in a couple of weeks as well. It'll be really good to talk a little bit of hockey. Well, there's been plenty of news about, isn't there? And sad news, really, from the Hearts FA about all the County Cup competitions.
Yeah, I mean, they did message a couple of weeks ago that saying that they'd, received a lot of emails about clubs, what's going to happen about the County Cup this season. And, they had said that, they would tweet out what was going to happen with them. But I understand, Pete, that the County Cups aren't happening.
Yeah, it's going to be no County Cups. It's been a difficult decision. This was not an easy decision to come to. And we realised they will not please everybody, said the Hearts FA. However, we do believe that it's in the best interest of football in the Hertfordshire to provide the optimum availability of dates and therefore the best opportunity for all leagues to complete this season. Should be understood that the association is fully supportive of running County Cup competitions in the future, and it's both our hope and aim to reintroduce them in season 21-2022. To this said, the Editions Committee will be planned for 21-22 season and take the opportunity to undertake a review of the competition rule structures in readiness for them to return. And I guess, we're all in this, don't quite know where it's going to go, and we don't want a repeat of what happened with, leagues being decided in some places on points per game, in other places being abandoned, whatever. We just want to get those leagues through, don't we?
Yeah, of course we do. I mean, there is one other thing that they said the other week, and they said with funding from Sport England and the FA, they've put together a package to ensure that all clubs can benefit from extra support for the forthcoming season. And so they will be providing a discount on public liability insurance for the 2020-21 season. So that's good news.
Yeah, it's good. Football and, local sport, and not just football, it's everything, needs all the help it can get. News of a couple of signings in a week for Sawbridgeworth. Striker Nickel David Luzolo, who'd been on the books of Ebbsfleet, has signed on. They've also re-signed the versatile Ibby Ibbs, who's been at Tately, having been on the books of Crawley Town, and he played in Denmark with Brombury's B team as well, evidently. So another couple of players on board and just showing that, the way they're moving forward as a club.
That's it. Moving forward greatly. We know what the great signings that they've made. They made progress towards the back end of last season, and things are looking good down there, Pete. I do want to go over to Germany.
Okay.
There's a German football team that lost 37-0 to their local rivals after fielding only 7 players.
Oh.
Right? So 7 players is obviously the minimum that you can have for a game, but these 7 players socially distanced throughout the match. Rickdorf fielded the minimum number of players because their opponents, SV Haldenstad, came into contact in a previous game with someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Their team tested negative, but Rickdorf said the conditions were not safe. And if Rickdorf had not played, they would have faced a €200 fine. They had asked for the match, which was in the 11th tier of German football, to be postponed, but the local association refused. Rickdorf said they did not feel safe at the time of the game. 14 days had not yet passed since Haldenstad players had come into contact with a player who tested positive. Haldenstad's first team did not play in the match, and the club fielded their second team. At the beginning of the match, one of Rickdorf's players stepped onto the pitch, passed the ball to an opponent, and the team then walked to the sidelines. The co-chairman, Patrick Risto, said that the Haldenstad players did not understand, but we did not want to risk anything. He added, they did not go into direct duels and observe the social distancing rules, keeping 2 metres back between them and the Haldenstad players. Haldenstad did not hold back, scoring a goal every 2 or 3 minutes. Haldenstad coach Florian Schierwater said there was no reason to play this game. And Pete, if I remember correctly, before everything ended, we did nominate a certain league for a donut award for a tweet they put out about players socially distancing on the pitch, and we said we could get a crazy result about this, and looks like we was right.
There it is. I just imagine the manager shout from the touchline, "Man on 2 metres." It's just, absolutely. Well, from that, we go to a bit of sad news for rugby and local rugby supporters, because this week the RFU announced that with the exception of Premiership, Championship, Premier 15s rugby, no organised RFU or non-RFU leagues, including merit tables, adult or age grade competitions, will be played before January 2021 at the earliest. Karen Newby, chairman at Hartford Rugby, responded saying our executive board has already worked out a series of plans and budgets to cover many scenarios, including a worst case of no competitive rugby at all this season. I'm pleased to announce that financially, although it will be extremely difficult, we'll be able to weather the storm. More than ever, I would ask that we remember we're one club, we are stronger together, and together we will come through this with our great community club intact. That's really sad news. I mean, they signed 13 new players, and at the earliest they're not going to be on the field till January.
Yeah, it's really not good for them at all. But I mean, it's great to hear that. Financially they will be safe, but all those guys, they're going to be missing their competitive games every week, and it doesn't bode well for them, doesn't it? But so long as they can survive, Pete, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was a kind of bittersweet announcement, wasn't it? Very disappointing, but heartening in terms of the finance. Talking of heartening for basketball fans, well, I don't know if you were probably out there like I was thinking, well, hold on, wait a minute, this 6 ban of people indoors, how's that going to affect basketball? Well, the good news from the NBL is it's not going to at NBL level, because for an announcement from the Prime Minister, indoor under-18s basketball and senior elite basketball remain exempt from the Rule of 6 social distancing restrictions. So that means the NBL and the Women's NBL, of course, which Oakland Wolves take part in, thankfully are going to be spared, and the basketball season can get underway, hopefully.
Well, that's good. So, hopefully that gets underway soon, and we'll look out for them. I've got another couple of bits here, Pete. Funny bit of news I saw last week. I noticed Bobby Davro was trending on Twitter. Now, I can see your face and you're thinking, what's Bobby Davro got to do with football? Yeah? But it turns out it was actually the new Bristol Rovers goalkeeping coach, David Coles, who strikes a resounding resemblance to Davro. People on Twitter were saying, surely that's Bobby Davro, which resulted in him trending. And David Coles' daughter also tweeted, when you see Bobby Davro is trending in the UK and you click on it to see it's your dad instead. And also, I do want to mention about Ricky Brown, who was our individual performance of the week winner last week. Ricky, obviously, from Where Sports Reserves. And we asked them to let them know if he got the match ball. They did reply, and they said, can't afford an extra match ball. He probably doesn't have room for any more anyway. So, Pete, it sounds like we might have to keep an eye out for him in those golden boot charts.
Yeah, must do. Ricky must have a little collection of footballs. And I'll tell you what, mentioning Where Sports Reserves, it's just coming up to half time, and we've got Lucy here to sound the whistle.
Right, welcome back from that break, and we're now joined by our guest for this week, Kieran Amos. Kieran, welcome to 90 Minutes. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, you've been a bit of a sensation, haven't you? You've been on various news outlets, BBC, TalkSport, Sky News. Now you're on 90 Minutes on East Hearts Radio. I mean, how crazy have things been for you?
It's, do you know what? Yeah, it has been this. What, it was the 1st of September, I think, the game or something like that. And my phone has finally started to kind of relax a little bit. This last month has just been crazy, and not just in terms of the football either. I mean, I moved into a new flat with my partner as well, so it's not just the football side of it, but this as well has been quite busy.
Yeah. Have you had a bit of stick from the lads in the dressing room?
Oh, massive, massive, especially when you've got some of the TV cameras turning up unannounced. It's been, I've been getting battered at times.
Yeah. Now let's start at the beginning. I mean, you'd played football previously, and you were at Saffron Walden Town as a teenager. Is that right?
No, I played for I played for Bishop Stortford throughout my youth football, and I was at the academy there. And I also signed for Takeley. I was playing reserve team football at 16, and then I progressed into the first team probably at the end of the first season, of senior football for myself, and then started playing regularly the following season that I got injured.
Yeah, and you were 17, and you got a really bad ankle injury, which hampered your career, and then you went off to university as well, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So was it a combination of that's kind of stopped you playing?
That was exactly it. I mean, I snapped my ankle, so I'd snapped all the ligaments in my ankle just before my 18th birthday, and then obviously with that meant I decided to go off to university. I'm born in April, so it was near the end of the season anyway, and obviously I had to wait about 5-6 months for surgery, and then by the time the surgery had happened, I was going off to uni, and I wasn't really doing the rehabilitation bits that was required. And that accompanied with going out every night and finding takeaway food, I think the weight kind of ballooned on.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's come to that. I mean, you've lost 7 stone during lockdown. But so Sorbo boss Lee Mackman, he had set the challenge to lose weight to earn a contract for the side, didn't he? So how did that conversation actually come about?
Yeah, so I've been... firstly, it's not a contract. It's obviously just non-contract forms, the signing on forms. But I've been coaching at Sawbridgeworth since November. So I've always stayed involved coaching, probably for the last 4 years. When I got back from uni, I got involved with Morgan LaForce, who I ran an under-18 side at Bishop Stortford with. Did really well in the FA Youth Cup. Took them in the first year. We drew Colchester away in the first round proper, and then the following season we played away at Barnet as well. So those boys we took through to the under-23s at Bishop Stortford in the reserve side there. And then we got an opportunity to go to Leighton Athletic for the last 10 games of the season, and then I followed him to Ilford as well. So when he got let go by Ilford, obviously Lee kind of reached out to me at Sawbridgeworth, and that made sense. It was about 5 minutes from my house. So being a local lad, it was a great opportunity. And like I say, from that, obviously, having coached and watched the performances, I kind of got that little buzz back and that idea in my mind that I wanted to get fit. Obviously, I'd come up with loads of excuses as to why I couldn't. But obviously, when lockdown happened, that conversation came about with me and Lee. I went out on that run that first day and I said to him, look, this is what I'm up to, just, in passing conversation. He said, well, if you lose 5 stone, he said, you're more than welcome to start training again and try and get yourself in the side.
Excellent. And like you say, so you're doing those runs. You did that first 1K run. And, then you was doing 5K runs. It took 47 minutes to do the first 5K. What have you got that down to now?
It's about 22 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. That's obviously at my best. There are some days where I still go out and I just amble along, but that doesn't matter. And that was the thing that I found in lockdown, was some days I was running really quickly, other days I'd be going slowly. And the truth is, it didn't really matter as long as I was going out and doing it.
Yeah. And you say, obviously, when you was at university, you was living on takeaways and stuff like that, and you've completely changed your diet now, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, do you know what? I use the term diet very loosely because I've done a lot of different diets. I mean, that first summer I come back from uni, I lost about 4.5, 5 stone doing the Cambridge diet. and that was literally like drinking milkshakes 3 times a day, and that was it. So as soon as I went back to uni again and started drinking and eating takeaways, that weight came back on again. So I've kind of, in my mindset, I've made it a lifestyle change as opposed to a diet.
Yeah.
And that's just allowed me to kind of, see it as a different, eat the normal foods and eat the same foods and just exercise alongside it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how is the ankle actually now? I mean, are you feeling any sort of, repercussions or any aches in that after a game at all?
Do you know what? No, I mean, it gets stiff after a game, but, as long as I stretch and keep it moving, it'll be fine the next day. To be honest with you, I think my body is just adjusting to playing 90 minutes of football once or twice a week and training alongside it. Obviously, having not done it for 7 years, it's a big wake-up call. But I'm enjoying it, and it's nice having them aches and pains because you feel like you've really you've really put a shift in.
Yeah. So let's come on to that FA Cup game against Swansea. You get the winner, a 2-1 win. And firstly, I will apologise to you because I tweeted that it was Jake Skeet. But that was because football web pages said it was him. And
if you saw the two of us, you'd understand why I couldn't believe it.
Well, there was a famous mix-up, Pete, wasn't there, between Ben Hurd and Isaac Pedro? But we won't go into that. So, but I mean, how special was that moment for you, considering all that you'd been through?
Yeah, I smile just talking about it. It was it was an incredible feeling. I've said it to other outlets in the past that that was the first 90 minutes I'd lasted throughout pre-season. So I hadn't played a 90 minutes. I think the most I did was 75. So even to be on the pitch at that point, I was kind of a little bit surprised about. I think that was adrenaline kind of getting me through it. But yeah, as I say, that was the feeling was indescribable. I mean, I couldn't have written it any better myself.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it was a team from a step higher, but also like they've got so much money behind them and backing in Glen Tamplin as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. They had some very good players on show that night as well. I think they had a guy called Alfie Potter who played like 300 Football League games. So that showed the kind of calibre of opposition we were playing against. And it kind of speaks volumes for the result that we achieved.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic. But that wasn't it. I think it was 4 days later, first league game of the season.
Yeah.
You go and smash a hat-trick against Southend Manor.
Yeah, it was. Well, I said it. I didn't think it could be topped what I'd done on the Tuesday night. But yeah, I think I was pleased with the first goal. I've got to say that volley over my shoulder. I absolutely loved that one. But I was used to scoring 1 goal a season at most.
I mean, from that, I mean, we've asked, time and time again, players and stuff like that. Did you get the match ball?
I completely forgot you were allowed to even take one. I didn't even think about it at the end of the game.
No. Oh.
No, I know. I had a bit of a stinker there, but in fairness, I don't think they would have given it to me anyway.
and then
I think match balls come at a price at this level.
That is the problem, isn't it? That is the problem.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks ago as well, another worldie against Woodford Town.
Yeah. I have to make it very clear that was a shot. A lot of people have been giving me grief online saying it was a cross, but no, it was a stutter. If you watch the video, it was the stutter. I definitely meant it.
The thing, I mean, I've seen the video, and for the benefit of those if they haven't, you can see, you've got the ball on the left hand side, and you do look up, and you can see that. In my eyes, it definitely is a shot. Definitely, yeah. No,
I appreciate that. Like I say, I made it very clear to all the boys on the pitch right away that was a shot. I didn't even celebrate properly. I just I was so bothered about telling them all it was a shot.
Yeah. I mean, let's go on to last season. I mean, things weren't easy for the team last season, but this season, you've really hit the ground running, haven't you?
And we've strengthened. We've brought in some really good players.
Yeah. I mean, some of those you brought in, they've got good experience as well, haven't they?
Yeah, we've obviously we've got Cav's brother Connor. He's come in. I played with him for a little while at Colchester, so I knew him from my kind of younger days. Obviously, and to be honest with you, the best thing that we did was we actually kept hold of the core group of boys who really started to gel come the end of the season, where we actually started to pick up a couple of results as well. And that made starting pre-season a lot easier. And some people will obviously look at it and think, well, why would you do that? You'd need to change the whole group. But actually it was, as I'm sure Lee would tell you, but some of the players that we've kept hold of, I mean, you've got little Lewis Wicker at left back. He's different class. As a footballer, he's superb. You've got Corey, who plays at centre half, who's solid. You've got Ethan Frank, Sam Butler, the goalkeeper. They're all very good players. And I think Jake Skeet's another one. He's scored a lot of goals already this season. And it was just giving him the confidence and having a different kind of player around them that could push them on a little bit more.
That's it. I mean, you mentioned, that towards the back end of last season, results were getting a bit better. And at the start of the season, there had been a few players coming through, but the team seemed to settle towards the end of last season, didn't they? And like you say, with them new additions, it's it seems to have really helped you.
Yeah, I think obviously if we spoke about last season, having spoken to Lee myself, he started with probably one or two players, in pre-season. So that was always a tough job. Obviously, the previous manager had left and he's gone on to pastures new, and it was a tough job for anybody to take, I think. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but Steve Day, the chairman, he's been fantastic. He's always supported and pushed us on, and I think the rewards are kind of coming now.
Yeah, and one other player that you signed, Michael Betts, goalkeeper. I mean, I've seen. I know it's YouTube videos of him and stuff like that, but he looks fantastic, and he can save a penalty as well, can't he?
Yeah, very good young goalkeeper. He was recommended to me by a friend of mine who's a coach at Brightlingsea. John Alban, he recommended him. He came really highly recommended, and he's been excellent. Yeah, he's made some tremendous saves, kept us in games at times. Yeah.
So what's the mood like in the camp now?
Do you know what? I think we've had a couple of defeats the last couple of games, and it's been a bit deflated. But I think that's deflated because we've obviously the start of this season has been fantastic, and we've set ourselves really high standards. And when we fail to live up to those standards now, it's hard to take because nobody turns up to football on a Saturday wanting to lose. But to be honest with you, they're a good group of lads. We all get on really well. We know that we'll turn up on Tuesday night with the mindset that we're going out to win the game and get 3 points. And yeah, like I say, they're a little bit deflated, but as soon as we turn up on Tuesday, that will go, and it's all about the next job in hand. Yeah,
I mean, you say about them last couple of games. One of them was Sporting Bengal, which you lost on penalties.
Threw it away, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other game you played # on Saturday. Unfortunately, lost 4-2. But I mean, we all know they've got a huge following. I'm sure they've got a huge budget as well. What's it like playing them with, obviously, you get an increased fan following? I know, obviously, gates are limited at the moment. But we've noticed, you get an increased fan following. They're filming their games. They're putting it all out on YouTube. They're doing the commentary, etc. What's that like for you guys as a team playing them?
Do you know what? It's funny actually. They didn't have the cameras with them on Saturday. I think that was because of the COVID restrictions in the ground. We were obviously expecting a large crowd, and they were concerned. Because with the cameras come a larger entourage as well. So I think the decision was taken. It was nothing against them. We as players, we would absolutely love them to be there. But I think as a club, they were a little bit concerned with what happened on Monday at their home game. And it's not worth the risk.
No, I mean that game that was in the FA Cup, and not fair on them, because obviously they can't control the fans, but they did get a little bit of stick for the the fans all
Exactly, and I think ultimately that was our mindset as well. If they couldn't and they had stewards out there, what if we've not got stewards?
Yeah, I mean, for them, I mean, how much do you think they've done, to raise awareness for lower league football and especially the Essex Senior League?
Oh, they've done masses. The impact they've had on non-league football has been fantastic. I mean, I know they get a lot of criticism about being a YouTube team and things like that, but they are a very, very well-run, organised, professional outfit. And the players there, they're very, very good. They're a good quality of player. They're there because they want to push the club forward and they want to take them as far as they can. And Jay, the manager, he's superb as well. Do you know what I mean? You can't fault them as a group. They are, rightly where they are in the league. And I'm sure they'll be challenging right at the top end this season.
That's it. But they bring that exposure to the Essex Senior League, don't they? So
it's done masses for the league. I mean, if it wasn't pouring down with rain, I think we could have probably had, we could have filled it out completely to the capacity we were allowed. I think the rain probably put a few people off. But, yeah, they get massive following every game they go to, don't they? And rightly so, because, the exposure they have is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine, for Sawbridgeworth Town, hosting that home game, it boosts the gates, it boosts the money coming through for the T-Bar and stuff like that. It's I guess it's the most profitable game of the season for you, isn't it?
I definitely think it's up there, yeah. Obviously, it was nice. The Romford game, there was a lot of people, and the St Margaret's game as well in the FA Cup did quite well. So I think, it's up there with those games.
Yeah. And saying that, coming on to the fans, I mean, you get great backing, great support from them. They stuck by you all last season.
Yeah.
And this season as well. They've added the match day, not commentary, but they tweet all the information out on the match day as well. I mean, the fans are great for you, aren't
they? Those boys are outstanding. They obviously all got school down the road over at Leventhorpe as well. So, they're all like best mates. They all play together as well for Sawbridgeworth. So that they are outstanding. We, especially last season with some of the performances that we put in, I think this is kind of like reward for them. And equally, their support has pushed us on massively. I mean, you heard them after the goal I scored against Romford. It was outstanding. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't ask for more than that.
Yeah. I mean, the next couple of games you got, fairly local game, Takeley, which is tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then local one, Saffron Walden on Saturday. I mean, neither of them have started the season as well as they might have been expected, but they're still two dangerous sides for you, aren't they?
Oh, 100%. I mean, Takeley, are renowned in the league for being a strong Essex Senior League outfit. Obviously, there's that added bonus that I used to play there, so I'm looking forward to that. And I've got a couple of mates who play for them as well. So it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to playing over there. Obviously, it's been about 7 years since I've been there last. And then obviously, Saffron Walden, whilst their results haven't been great, you can still see the players they've got signed over there. They're very good players, and they're just, waiting to really kick on, I think. So we've got two really tough tests coming up this week. They're going to both be physical battles. We know what to expect from Saffron Walden and Takeley to a certain extent as well. Obviously, they've not got the results they wanted, but, they've had a tough start to the season. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're fourth in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got Cockfosters top, hashtag and Stansted. I think there's a lot of teams up there that can be challenging at the top this season. I think it's going to be a really close fought title race.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Cockfosters have started on fire. Obviously, Stansted, they're flying as well, aren't they? They've beaten two sides above them in the FA Cup. They got a good win at the weekend against Southend Manor. So I think they'll definitely be pushing sides and they'll be competing right up at the top. Obviously, you've got hashtag that we've spoken about, Walthamstow. They've obviously signed some very good players, goal scorers as well, which is hard to find at this level. So I think a lot of sign. Obviously, you've got Hadley as well, who compete, and they had a really good FA Cup run, if I remember rightly, last year as well. So I think it's going to be a really tough division, but one that we're looking forward to testing ourselves against these opposition.
Yeah, I mean, you locally, you've got quite a few local sides. You've got Takeley, St Margaret's-Bury,
Stansted, yeah.
Is there any of those teams that you would consider like your main rivals for a derby game?
I think I would probably say, just from what I remember, obviously Mark Dass, the Takeley manager now, he was previously manager at Sawbridgeworth, and I think he when he took the Takeley job, he took a few of the Sawbridgeworth boys over with him. So I think that would probably be considered the most, probably one of the bigger derbies. That and Stansted, I would say, probably.
Yeah, and does that come from the fans? Is that their point of view that makes it like that?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say the fans. I think they're obviously fairly new to the club themselves as well. So they're kind of finding their own little rivalries. I know they have a good bit of banter with the Woodford Town ultras, as well as they enjoyed the little laugh with the hashtag fans the other day as well. But I think they're kind of finding their own little rivalries.
That's it. I mean, I think you mentioned Woodford and the hashtag. It's great because you do get these little sort of banter. Obviously, we know the Woodford and they've got their drums and stuff like that, and
they're fantastic as well. Yeah,
yeah. But it's nice that you can build up these, if I say, friendly fan rivalries, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. But it's nice because I think anybody who plays and tells you they don't like having an atmosphere is lying. It always gives you a little bit extra.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure the bosses, spoke to the team about, the ambitions and aims for the season. Can you tell us anything about that? What the ideas are?
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's well known last season how we fared. So I think for us as a group is get as many points as we can as quickly as possible and reassess at Christmas.
Yeah, it sounds a fair idea, and you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves. And we've spoken to people before. That you're constantly reassessing the season. Give it a like you say a 2-month, 3-month period. Then reassess. Then maybe set a different aim. Something like that. So you've constantly got a target to aim for.
Yeah. I think it really depends. I mean, you could break it down into mini seasons. You look at we could have broke it down and said, right, we've got hashtag Takeley, Saffron, Walden. Let's set ourselves a little aim there, get 4 points from the 3 games or 6 points. But I think, instead of putting too much pressure on the lads saying, right, we need 4 points from these 3 games, it's, go out and enjoy yourselves, go and express yourself, play with a bit of freedom, and really just put in good performances. That's all we ask for, on a weekly basis and a consistent basis, is put in good performances. Try and say we have, Sporting Bengal was a prime example. We played really well for 70 minutes and then the last 20 we capitulated. So again, the kind of, they're little mini targets we set ourselves, right? It gives yourself a 90-minute performance. Compete for the full 90. Don't think the job's done after 70, those little things. But in terms of points, we're saying to ourselves, get as many points as we can. And that's about it, really.
And what about yourself? Have you set yourself any personal targets at all?
Do you know what? For myself personally, obviously, I've not played for a long time. So I said it, for me, it's just about playing week in, week out and consolidating my place in the side. I think, while I've had a kind of whirlwind first month back, I'm sure, any footballer has bad periods and bad spells or, spells where they're not necessarily playing as well as they could be. So I think I'm just seeing what happens. But yeah, I just want to play as much as I can.
Yeah. I mean, we've said about that, that first team with the new signings and stuff like that. What about the youth sides? Is there any good prospects coming through there that might be able to break in?
Yeah, I mean, there's. I went and watched the under-18s in the FA Youth Cup the other night over at Redbridge. They lost, I think it was 4-2 in the end, but put in a really good performance. They were playing against it was Barking and Abbey Sixth Form College, so they have their football academy where they're training full time, and they just play under Redbridge in the FA Youth Cup. So, you know, that was a real tough test for them. But the young lad Connor Lee, the goalkeeper, he's a very good keeper. He's been training with us throughout pre-season and the start of this season, and he's been on the bench in the FA Cup and FA Vars.
Yeah. Pete, was there anything that you wanted to come in and ask Kieran?
Yeah, I just wondered, Kieran, I mean, your experience of coaching, how much has that played now in your mindset with getting back onto the field playing? Because you kind of almost done it in reverse, haven't you? You've had the coaching experience and now getting back to playing, when normally it's the other way round. Yeah, it's been a real tough transition, although I think it's actually helped me a lot. I think you'd have to ask the teammates, you know, whether or not it really has or not. But I'd like to think it's helped me, especially on the pitch. I mean, I always felt like I was a talker. I always thought I gave good information, but actually having experience for the last 4 years, kind of the information I was giving onto the pitch, how it is taken by players. And I like to think that on the pitch now, while I might not be quite as vocal as I was before, it was, you know, a lot more of the information I'm giving out is kind of beneficial and helpful to them, as opposed to just being constant encouragement. But in terms of myself as well, I'd like to think that it's kind of paid dividends in the opposition third anyway, because as I said, I never really scored goals before, so I think I've done a lot of work with the strikers over the last couple of years, so I'd like to take credit for that. and I guess just what you achieved with the weight loss as well. I mean that's a real score for a positive mental attitude, because that must have taken something in mental attitude to achieve what you've achieved. Yeah, I think it was. I think the thing that I've lacked a lot in my life is discipline. I'm very quick to do things and then sack it off very quickly. So I think lockdown really just gave me that opportunity to kind of learn a lot about myself firstly, and secondly really try and make a positive change in my life. So I think I saw a quote quite early on in lockdown which said you might not always be motivated, so just be disciplined. And I wrote that down and put that on my bedroom wall. So obviously every time I was walking out the door, you know, I might notice it, I might not, but I think that kind of is just embedded in me. So that's in terms of my lifestyle, instead of a diet, you know, just being disciplined with it, knowing that, yeah, I could have a full English in the morning, but actually just stick with your cornflakes. And I guess, you know, I've seen you bob up on websites which got absolutely nothing to do with football, just based on lifestyle change. So I guess, you know, that's been a real positive element for me for football as well, because your story has spread beyond, you know, the confines of the Essex Senior League. Yeah, it's been a bit crazy, hasn't it? I certainly didn't expect it to happen, if I'm honest with you. I kind of put that tweet out just so that, you know, those people who do follow me or who did follow me could see it. And, you know, I did not expect it to get the kind of coverage that it has. But I think that's kind of the magic of the FA Cup, really, isn't it? These stories kind of get thrown up out of nowhere and people love it. Yeah, I think there's been very few positive things that have come out of lockdown, but we're very glad that what's happened to you has been one of them. So no, I appreciate that. Portray a good news story, you know. Yeah, do you know what? As I say, I didn't expect it, but it's been an incredible month or so. And to be honest with you, I'm just so happy to be back playing football again, because more than anything, that's kind of the mental health side of things that isn't spoken about. But being back out there and playing, that just brings so much more back to me that I missed. You know, it's being part of a team. Obviously, being coaching, that's great, but nothing replicates the buzz that you get from being part of a team and playing and fighting with each other for 3 points every week. Well, Kieran, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us on 90 Minutes. And of course, we wish you all the best, and we'll be following you with interest throughout the rest of the season. Cheers. No, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
welcome back, and many thanks to Kieran for joining us. Absolutely fantastic to speak to him. And Pete, let's go to some donuts.
Donuts.
Well, Pete, last week's winner was the Ilkley alpaca. And I've got another animal-themed one this week. I've only got one nomination, but I'll let you start off with the nominations for this week.
Yeah, I wonder if the Ilkley fans were shouting, sign him up when he got on the pitch. I don't know. But first one I've got is for Micah Richards. Micah Richards revealed in the week that he nearly missed being on a Monday Night Football last week because he got himself stuck in his dressing room for 9 minutes. He tweeted being on Sky Sports Premier League last night, but managed to get myself locked in the changing room for 90 minutes before the show. Thanks to the staff for getting me out with 2 minutes to spare. You'd never have known. So I've got no idea how he did it, but getting locked. And at 90, I love the 90 minutes bit as well. He could have listened to our show while he was locked in there, couldn't he?
He could have done. Maybe he did. Who knows?
Could have been the reason, couldn't it? Do you want me to give you another one before your one?
Yeah, go on then.
Go on then. I want to award a donut to Oxford United's Sid's coach. I think the first we've had a team coach nominated for Nut of the Week. This was after a breathalyzer fitted as a safety device on the bus was triggered by the alcohol-based spray used to sanitise the bus against COVID-19. When the coach driver routinely blew into the device, it sensed the alcohol and shut the bus down for 6 hours, which left the United squad stranded in their hotel 30 minutes away from their League One meeting with Accrington. Had to use a convoy of staff cars and taxis to get to the ground on time. Sorry, they did have a happy ending as far as they were concerned, because by all that, they went on game 4-1.
Lucky omen. I don't know. Who knows? Right, Pete, so my nomination, last week, as we said, I nominated an alpaca. This week, I'm nominating a macaw. So the Brazilian national women's team, they were having a training game when a macaw landed on the head of defender Bruna Benitez. One of the Brazil coaches then came over to her and got the parrot onto a ball before it flew off the ball and landed on top of one of the goals. Pete, I'm loving the animal donut nominations.
Oh, you are the king of the animal donut domination. I think it brings a new meaning to the phrase "on me head," doesn't it? I think. But, okay, for the fourth nomination, I want to nominate designer shoe manufacturer. I hope I pronounce this right. Designer shoe manufacturer Balenciaga, who have offered fans a closer look at its brand new soccer sneaker. That's their words, not mine. Ahead of next month's official release date, the luxury fashion brand will slap a reported £595 price tag on these classic leather-free boots with company's famous branding visible on a retro foldable tongue. These unique boots have been reworked for everyday wear as opposed to attic activities. So look them up on Google, and you will see they are a pair of football boots, but designer football boots in a variety of different colours that you can wear during the week, but don't play football in them, and they will cost you £595. So anybody that buys one of those definitely deserves a donut.
Well, I think I'll still clear them, Pete. That's a little bit over my budget. So yeah, they'll be up on the Twitter feed. So get voting for them. And should we go from donuts to performances?
Yeah, from the bad to the good. The performance of the week. We had a few in the bracket for the team performance. Wearable, their first win of the season together. St Margaret's with that amazing comeback. Hoddesdon score 5, but I think really it wasn't a teleprinted job, but it could have been. It's got to go to Westmill in the Hertford and District League, who beat Ware Trinity 8-3, having been 1 goal behind as well. And they've to get themselves, as we were saying earlier, a goal difference of plus 11 out of just 3 games.
Yeah, fantastic performance. And I was saying to you earlier before we went on air, on Saturday, I left my girls' team, and the two teams were just arriving at Ware Trinity to begin their game, and a fantastic performance for Westmill. Well done, and you get our team performance of the week.
Well done, guys. And a really good Twitter, Westmill, as well. We'll give them thumbs up for that as well. Very loads of humour on it, and good stuff. The individual performance of the week, we're going to turn to hockey for that, because comes to prolific pick goal scorers, then Scott Apps has got to be right up there. He's got another hat trick as Hertford drew their league opener 3-3 at Bedford Twos on Saturday. And, what a prolific goal scorer Scott Apps is for Hertford Hockey Club.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned last season as well how well he'd done. And obviously he was in the running last week. But, another fantastic hat trick. And congratulations, Scott, because you get our individual performance of the week for this week.
Well done, Scott. Let's have a look at the Golden Boots in local football. Louis Debenham of Will has taken himself to the top of the charts with a hat-trick against Ware Trinity. He's now got 6. This week's guest, Kieran Amos, is in second place, along with his teammate Connor Clark, who scored the penalty against #United, which took his season tally to 5. No game this weekend for Henry Branston, so he's still on 4 goals. So it's good to see. I really love it when you've got players below the kind of step 4 as well that are getting in there amongst our Golden Boot. I think that's really great.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and hopefully, we'll see those players finding the net a little bit more in the future.
Okay, women's football.
Yeah, women's football in the Eastern Region Women's Football League. Watson ladies, they continued their great run. They won 2-1 at East Burgout United. Dempsey Favell and Ella Marden with the goals there. There was a couple of friendlies today. Abingdon Town were playing Hearts Vipers, and Hearts Vipers Development were playing Garston Ladies Purple. Unfortunately, we've not found out those results from there. But Pete, I understand you saw a tweet from Sherrard's Wood Women, and unfortunately they got abandoned.
Yeah, it was a real shame. Game abandoned on 55 minutes. They were playing AFC Dunstable Women's Blues. They were 3-0 down at the time. And the game was abandoned due to a serious injury, which is something, nobody likes to see. All it says on Twitter is speedy recovery, Ria. So, we add our sentiments to that as well. And sometimes you don't realise, do you, that, we all go and like our football, and it doesn't matter whether you watch it at Premiership level or whether you watch far lower down the football pyramid. I mean, it's still a risky game sometimes, and you can pick up nasty injuries.
Yeah, you can. I mean, of course, at this level as well, it has an impact on their life, because, is that going to affect them working and stuff like that? It has more of a financial impact on them, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and also, there's no fancy medical teams. There's join the queue at A&E as well, isn't there? So, I can remember my days back at Ryan House Rockets and watching Speedway with Speedway riders having to be taken off to the Princess Alexandra and join the queue at A&E because it's a whole different thing, sport down at this level.
It is, definitely. So, Ria, we wish you all the best, and hopefully you'll make a speedy recovery. Pete, should we go on to fixtures for the week and see where we're going to be at?
Yeah, it's going to be another pretty busy week starting tomorrow night, Tuesday, Southern League Division 1 Central. Welling Garden City against Biggleswade will be down there at Hearns Lane. Full coverage and commentary on 90 Minutes live on that one. And it's every bit as good as the Bishop's Stortford FA Cup. Really look forward to that. In the Essex Senior League, St Margaret's Bury against Woodford, who are struggling at the bottom of the table, of course. And that, as Kieran was telling us earlier, the sort of local derby that between Takeley and Sawbridgeworth, one of those local derbies that perhaps not quite geographic, but, they don't have to be, do they? It's all to do with what's happened between the two clubs.
That's it, and it's more a derby for him as well, with his history with Takeley as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it should be a good game, that one. On Wednesday, Ilford against Hoddesdon Town. Hoddesdon, the entertainers of the Senior League. So, now I've said that, it'll probably end up 0-0, but watch out for some more goals there. That takes us around to Saturday, Izmir League Division 1 South Central. Both our teams in action, where face their third consecutive away game at Chalfont St Peter. And Hertford Town go to League leaders Westfield. Westfield absolutely flying, but Hertford, who put that brilliant win together against Tooting and Mitcham on opening day. And I'm not 100% certain, but I'm around 90% certain that'll be our commentary game on 90Minutes Live. People at West always very welcoming, so look forward to get on there. In the Essex Senior League, Hoddesdon Town against Hadley, that'll be a good game. Sawbridgeworth against Saffron Walden, and St Margaret's-Bury against the league leaders Cockfosters. So real great lineup for our three Essex Senior League teams next Saturday. In the Hart Senior County League Premier Division, Cuffley Seniors against Welling Garden City under-23s, Ware Sports against Bellstone, and Bush Hill Rangers against Letchworth Garden City Eagles. That should be an interesting one as well. Division 1, Aldenham against Oxford Heath, Bushy Rangers Buntingford Town, Andernham Puckeridge against Sun Sports. In Division 2, Sandridge Rovers Reserves against Ware Sports Reserves. Away trip for Royton in the Essex Olympian League Division 5. They're at Collier Row Reserves. In the Hertford and District League Premier Division, Allenbury's against second place Mill Lane, Bogus Jogger Benito against Bengio Trinity, Stopfolk Junior Town against Ware Trinity, and league leaders Westmill against Wormley Rovers Vets. In Division 1, Ickleford against Hertford Reserves, Thunderidge against Nazing, Watnett Stone against Albury. In Division 2, Bengio Trinity Vets against Inter Hoddesdon, Bullies Crusaders against Stopfold Junior Town Reserves, Buntingford Wanderers against Much Haddam, and Hertford Heath A against Mangrove. Full hockey programme for Hertford's men in Eastern Region Division 2 South. They're at home to Old Loutonians Threes. In Division 3 South West, Welling Garden City take on Royston. And for the ladies in Division 2 South West, they face a trip away to Leighton Buzzard. So full programme.
Staying with the ladies in the women's football fixtures on Sunday, Waddesdon Park face a trip away to Millwall Lionesses. It's going to be a tough test for them, but the start they've made, Pete, I think it could be promising.
Yeah, made a good start. Millwall, they're the team to be aimed at, aren't they, I think, in terms of the division they're playing in. And, yeah, why not? Go for it.
That's it. I mean, Millwall haven't had the greatest of starts, but, Waddesdon, 2 games, 2 wins. So, let's see what happens there.
Yeah, most definitely. So, good luck to them. Good luck to all our teams who are taking the field. And, looking forward to tomorrow night at Hearns Lane. And if you can't get down there, then there'll be full commentary on 90 Minutes Live.
That's it. Well, Pete, I shall see you tomorrow. And looking forward to it. I've not seen you for a while.
No, it'd be good to get back together again, mate. The gang will reform tomorrow at Hearns Lane. Thanks for listening, everybody. Is Lucy about anywhere? Oh, yeah, there she is. Good night, everybody.
Cheers. Good night.